Coming up in today's programme, Kent primary school children go down on the farm, learn some organic principles and make their own naan bread. The Eco Schools programme is a national scheme rooted in a desire to encourage children to become more effective citizens by taking responsibility for the future of their own environment. It is not about achieving environmental excellence so much as fostering sustainable development and a better quality of life for local and global communities. Many of these aims and objectives are shared by Commonwork at Boar Place in Kent, which is a group of educational charities and rural enterprises centred on a 500-acre organic farm. From a study centre in its historic grounds in the Weald of Kent, Commonwork offers flexible, curriculum-linked courses for all ages in subjects ranging from arts and crafts to literacy and nature study. Today, we're going to concentrate on a primary school visit with food, farming and a spot of cookery very much on the agenda. Sustainability and care of the environment are high on the agenda at Fordcombe Church of England Primary School in the heart of the Kent countryside. Fordcombe Primary is a member of the International Eco Schools programme.
An eco school, to me, means that the children are aware of their environment, that they take a pride in their environment, and they are proactive in caring for it.
Today, Louise is taking her Year 5 and 6 class to the Commonwork Organic Farm and Study Centre at Boar Place.
Here at Boar Place, we're very lucky to have 500 acres of beautiful countryside in the Kentish Low Weald. And one of our prime objectives is to try and explore how we can use that land, how we can farm it more sustainably. Because it's important to us to share the lessons, the things that we find work and the things that we don't do very well, we've built up an education programme which allows us to invite people in and give them the opportunity to enjoy this wonderful space.
Good morning, everybody. This morning we're going to be thinking about food. Right, thinking about food in general and where we get our food from. And particularly because we're here at Boar Place, we're thinking about farming and food. I want you to look at your item and tell me what farming's had to do with it.
It's organic, so nothing else in it, just apples basically.
What do we mean by organic? What don't we use?
Does that mean you don't use chemicals?
That's right, we don't use any chemicals on the crops to help them grow. We don't use any weed killers to get rid of weeds. We don't use any pesticides to get rid of pests. So
we're getting more visits through from schools who are interested in the issues of food and healthy eating. Commonwork's a very good place to bring a group because we've got the farm on site, we've got the education programme, we've got the centre, so we can show children the starting point, which is the growing or the farming.
So that's the bits that, in terms of flour, we're interested in. So lots of seeds in there that we can grind to make flour.
We could look at the issues of cooking, how to cook, recipes, and bring in the messages about the healthy eating side of things.
Today the class is going to make naan bread.
The aim of today was to make a direct connection between the bread to the source of the ingredients, which is the wheat, the sunflower oil, the yoghurt that they used in it, to make that connection to a farm.
Get your hands in there, you muppet.
Now, we've been talking all morning about farms and farming. We're actually going to go and visit the farm now. But there are a few things that we need to think about as we go around the farm so that we all stay nice and safe.
We have had groups, even secondary school groups, who, when you talk about a cow and you think you're asking them the obvious question, or which part of the cow does the milk come from, and You know, I have been surprised at some of the answers that they just haven't thought about it because, you know, they buy their milk from the shop or the supermarket and it's there, and so they haven't thought about it. So, I mean, that's part of the difference that we are making. It's, you know, helping young people to understand that their food comes from a source, that there's a starting point to their food, and that it generally involves farming.
This cow it's got a white stripe down the front of its face. That's known as a Friesian Holstein cow. That's the sort of cow, the breed of cow that is really good at producing milk. Okay, in the calf unit, the calves are organised into age groups, a bit like a school. So this is the reception over here in this corner. They're the youngest calves. Then they move around, and we have the older calves at this side and at this end. The milk is put in the buckets, and obviously the cows will suck on those black teats to get the milk out.
Next up on the tour is the dairy, where the organic milk from the herd of 280 cows is collected for sale in the supermarkets throughout the UK.
This is a real commercial dairy farm. It's wholly owned by a charitable trust, so any money that it can make goes into the work of the charity and the educational work that we do. But nonetheless, it is competing in the real world, and we want children to come and see how it really is, how their food gets to the table.
Time for a lunch break. But even that is used to deliver an environmental message.
It's part of every educational visit that we give the young people an opportunity to think about recycling and waste. The person that founded Commonwork, Neil Waits, had a little saying, all waste is a misplaced resource. So in other words, the waste from one process should be the raw material for another.
At the end of your lunchtime, you may have leftovers. You may have leftover, I don't know, apple cores, banana skins. If you do, I'd like you to put them into this bucket here, or this bowl, and we're going to put them onto our compost heap. Right, so we're not going to waste any of this. It's going to go onto our compost heap. It'll rot down, turn into compost that we can then use on the garden probably in about a year's time. We've also got a recycling bag. Anything that can be recycled can go into this. Things like plastic bags, plastic drinks bottles.
We want to encourage children and schools and teachers to be thinking about it for themselves, so that it's not just something that they do here while they're at Ball Place, but it's something that they can carry on back at school and also in the homes.
After lunch, the children are sent to map the organic vegetable plot.
Start moving around the plot and try and find out what's growing here.
Nice onions. Onions, yeah, that's onions. Where are the onions? And that's carrots, yeah? So sweet goes here then, doesn't it?
Unlike the dairy farm, the organic garden at Commonwork is not intended to produce vegetables on a commercial scale. However, it is a good illustration of what can be achieved and an inspiration for Fordcombe Primary.
Oh, it's beetroot on the next one, isn't it? Yeah, beetroot on the next one. The gardening, that surprised me. They really got into the way in which Ball Place manage their garden, and they're very, very interested in that. And we're trying to develop our own organic garden, so that will hopefully feed into what we're doing at school.
Outside the polytunnel, the children encounter Phil Senior, who is in charge of the garden.
Are there any questions that you'd like to ask Phil?
Why are there a lot of tyres around? Is that for things to grow in?
To begin with, tyres are not wanted. They're a nuisance, and we thought we could recycle them, you see. Plants grow very well in tyres because they give a nice depth of soil for the roots, you see. You get good roots. We put all the beans, the runner beans that climb up poles, we put those in tyres. The strawberries go in tyres, and the courgettes go in tyres. Most of the other crops are in the beds.
The polytunnel is the organic gardener's equivalent of a greenhouse. Inside, Phil shows them his early crop of carrots.
There's There's a carrot that's been growing in here. Well, we'll let them grow about twice that size and then we'll give them to the kitchen because they make nice sweet salad carrots. But if that wasn't dirty, I could eat it right now. Lovely. In fact, I'll keep it. Yeah, later.
The trip is nearly over, and it is time for the children to collect their naan breads.
The bread was fantastic. They were really proud of what they did. And when they came out of the oven and they were looking at each other's design, oh yeah, oh that's really exciting, oh look at that plat. And just comparing each other's, and when they were tasting it, some liked it, some didn't, fair enough. But they really enjoyed the experience and they had something to show for it, which was super.
At school the next day, Louise is using the trip as the basis for a literacy lesson. She's talking about how to write a recipe.
Need a title, ingredients, we've said that, good. Step-by-step instructions. What information, extra information, could I put beside this? Hand up. Imogen.
You could put beside it so it's not too confusing.
Easy. So clear.
Easy. Clear and easy, so you don't have to, so it doesn't rush things, so you can't do two things in each step, so it's just step by step.
What was that excellent word that Daniela used? Daniela. Chronological. What does that mean?
In order as it comes.
Commonwealth fits into being an eco school because we can integrate it within our curriculum, within the subject, so the children don't just see it as a separate thing, or we're an eco school, or we're doing eco school work now. It's integrated within our curriculum, and we're always saying, oh yes, we're going to Ball Place, oh yes, we're doing our DT work, but also, oh yes, this, do you see how this is linking in with eco schools? And they're always seeing the threads that run into one another and throughout the curriculum and throughout the different subjects, and eco school is one of those threads which always interlinks.
When school groups come here, they really enjoy themselves and they feel that they are learning through that enjoyment and that it does literally provide a breath of fresh air.
I know it has a long-term benefit because I have children coming in saying, oh yes, we found this information, we could recycle ink cartridges, we can recycle mobile phones. They become proactive and it's within them now.
We're trying to sort of approach things from a head, heart, hands point of view to give people hands-on experience as well as something to think about.
Parents have actually said to me, gosh, they're so aware, so environmentally aware. They are wanting to do more. And if it wasn't part of them, they wouldn't do that and they wouldn't be so enthusiastic and fired up.
Max, you've made a proper naan bread. Oh yes. Oh yes.
You can find the recipe for naan bread, together with further information on this and other similar school trips, by looking under the Resources and Support Materials section on our website, www.teachers.tv/worth the trip.